All right, everyone. Steve Metrics here of Db8 Sports with your boy.
DJ Triggs.
And together we are Db8 Sports. Back third day of June, first show of June of the month. And it's kind of quiet in the sports world right now, I'd say. I mean, we're just kind of waiting for the NBA finals. Got some WNBA stuff going, and a monstrous contract just dropped in the NFL.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad it's quiet in the NFL because I don't know if you're getting hit by this same storm that I'm getting hit by, but it is like destroying power, and yeah, it was a good time. I literally
totally
behind the scenes, me just being hopping in because Storm was like, nope, you're not doing anything right now.
No, that's wild, man. No, that's wild. Yeah, we had a little bit of that storm, but kind of the northern neck of the woods got a little harder than we did. So that's no debate.
Yeah, and I think I have to be what, like, I don't know the mileage off the top of my head, but I'm more north of you than
Yeah,
you're
totally.
yeah.
Totally. No, that's
It's
no debate,
exciting.
man. I know,
But
yeah. But yeah, with one loud clap of thunder, another one drops in the NFL with Justin Jefferson's
true
contract.
story.
And I know, like, I've been hearing, yeah, it makes sense to have that for JJ McCarthy and Sam Darnold, but I'll be honest, I think it's a really bad idea on their part.
Yeah. Just in general, I'm not really big on wide receivers getting paid that much and having one of those wide receivers just because it doesn't really do anything for you.
Right.
Having one big receiver just kind of holds your team hostage, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. And I think, too, like, if I am paying that kind of big amount of money, it needs to be for somebody who still has that projection of their career still to come, and they have to show their health. To me, Justin Jefferson, he does have that upward trajectory of his career, but when you pull a severe hamstring, that kind of signifies that it's the beginning of the end at the upper end of your career.
Yeah, that it's tough to even kind of like to swallow that type of hit, but
Yeah,
it's just so much money.
it
That's
is.
the major issue. So much money.
Right. And if they had the ability that they were already talking about moving him before the draft, and you had the end of the season with a hamstring issue, and you've seen all these teams draft really well with getting new young wide receivers, especially in division with the Green Bay Packers, why would you hold on to a guy like that when you can move off of him? I would rather just wait another good 3 years, see how Jordan Addison develops, and give him that kind of contract if that's the way it works out. The
Right.
thing is, Justin Jefferson tore his hamstring. That changes everything. Like, that's a bad injury. If he did it once, he'll do it again.
Right. And I mean, 88 million is guaranteed, which is insane. Like,
Yeah.
not only with those type of injuries, and I mean, he missed I basically the majority of last season from
Oh, yeah.
it's like, and like you said, Jordan Addison's sitting there. They have a couple other receivers they can lock into, but it's like, wow. I just looked it up. He's making 15% of the cap,
Yeah.
which I I heard he's the highest paid non-quarterback, if I'm
In the
not
NFL.
mistaken.
Yes, he
And
is.
that is like, I'm sorry, I just don't get it. Like, it
In term,
it's
in,
just insane.
yeah, in terms of team building on that offense, if we just take away big money and look at who's out there and who I can kind of count on, I would honestly have him third on that offense. To me, I think the most dangerous, biggest weapon on that team is TJ Hawkinson. Then I go Jordan Addison. And then if I can count on him, then it's Justin Jefferson. I mean, a year or two ago, it was totally Justin Jefferson one, everyone else
Yep.
behind him. But that hamstring issue greatly changes things, and you have the development of an awesome young receiver in Jordan Addison. So I think the Eagles have turned. We haven't done anything on previewing rankings for the upcoming fantasy year yet. But I can tell you already for fantasy, if it comes to the Minnesota Vikings offense, I absolutely want Jordan Addison before Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, especially if you're talking value, because Justin Jefferson, you're looking like people are probably going to pick him pretty high just because of what he's done in the past. But it's like, well, he burned you last
He
year.
burned you hard, like harder than anyone else, probably.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm trying to, hmm,
Like, I
trying to
don't
look
even
at the.
feel the pain is for me, like I had both Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs. I would
Oh,
roll into the season both ahead of Justin Jefferson. No problem, no issues.
mhm.
Like I feel like the getting burned by those two hurt way less than getting burned by Justin Jefferson, who like what 2 weeks in rips his hamstring apart.
Right, right. Like I'm looking at the top 10 wide receivers like by average salary, and like it's weird to me. Like, so Justin Jefferson, Minnesota as a playoff team, probably not.
I
Um,
like I think this actually to me takes them a step back. Like
yeah,
I know he's there, but like again, like I could understand that if Kirk Cousins was there. Kirk Cousins
right.
isn't there. Now you have a new young wide receiver. Things are new. You hope that chemistry works. You hope things develop. But man, I am just not gung ho on this team anymore. I'm whoa. Hey now. Uh-oh. You still with us, Triggs?
Yep, I completely lost myself there.
That's
It,
exactly how I feel about the Justin Jefferson contract. That's exactly how I feel.
I have no idea. Like my whole table just moved. I don't know if that
Yeah.
was the thunder or what. Jesus,
We got severe weather rolling through the area, so that's no debate.
but that was kind of that was weird.
Absolutely,
Like
absolutely.
I literally haven't moved my body. Like the whole table is just like, nope.
Nope.
Oh, that was weird. But like I was saying, I'm going through the top 10 like wide receiver by annual salary, and it's so strange to me that teams like Philly and Miami would have two receivers making so much money that eat up a third of your cap. And
Oh
then
gosh.
and now like you're probably gonna have to pay Hurts more at some point. Miami's gonna have to pay Tua. Like, how else do you build your team if your wide receivers are making so much?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it when it comes to Miami, it's all about show and saying, "Hey, we'll pay you a lot of money to come play here in the beautiful climate of Miami." It's not a playoff team. That team is not serious. They don't have that grit. I find it very odd that yet they had all these things working. They bring in Vic Fangio, who's like old school. He's like the Tom Thibodeau of the NFL.
Mhm.
And he's like, whoa, this is an absolute train wreck. I'm jumping ship. I'm out of here. I can't save this defense. To me, that speaks volumes of this team. And unfortunately, to me, I think that also speaks volumes of Mike McDaniels, who I know everyone thinks he's cooler than the other side of the pillow. He seems very cool and a good guy and all that. But when it comes to like toughness and grittiness, the fact that that team had no defense and the fact that he has no problem scoring quickly and then exposing that defense onto the field again, that to me is a cause for concern. He can't vary his pace. He does have exotic formations with how he runs and throws the ball, but he has no problem throwing his defense back onto the field again. And I think at the end of the day, that's actually going to burn out his defense and burn out his team, especially playing against the grittier blue collar teams up in the Rust Belt, especially of the AFC.
Right. And I'm just like I said, I'm rolling through wide receiver rankings by average salary, and it's like, man, do I trust the Rams? Not exactly. With Cooper Cup making so much,
Yeah.
do I trust Seattle with DK Metcalf making 24 million? No.
But
Michael Pittman is
him I would though. I love his trajectory. He
I,
stunk when he came into the league, and I think
I
he's really accelerated.
I like him as a player, but I mean as like Seattle, like they're not able to build a team around just a wide receiver because you kind of have to discount yourself at quarterback. Right now, Indy, Michael Pittman's making 23 million. It's the same thing. They have
Yeah, I wouldn't put
once
him
they
up
have to
there.
pay Anthony Richardson, they're kind of stuck.
They're stuck.
Um,
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, Tennessee, Terry McLaurin, same thing with Washington. It's like these wide receivers are making so much, but their
Right.
quarterbacks either are horrible, their offense is bad, or they don't have anyone yet. And
Right.
luckily, some of these teams have rookie quarterbacks, but it just handcuffs you so much.
Yeah, it does. It does. I do like. I mean, Tennessee doing it. I think Tennessee does stuff like this to truly stay relevant. But Calvin Ridley, I mean, I give that guy props from jumping with state with no income tax to another state with no income tax, and also this the division in the NFL that is the most lucrative for no state income tax is the AFC South. So I give Calvin Ridley a ton of props on that. But again, with what you said with those other wideouts, especially the two recent ones, both Jalen Waddle and Justin Jefferson got ripped by injuries last season. And if I'm the team, I'm like, no, if you want that kind of money, we'll replace you. And shame on those teams if they didn't already do that in the draft, or at least have an idea to do that going into the draft. Because in all honesty, neither of those teams are truly playoff teams. Those teams are still in the rebuild mode and are molding players together in a way that we kind of saw recently with Green Bay. Things that are actually working out for Green Bay to get there, but Green Bay was still in that, hey, let's get receivers, let's develop them kind of style. Whereas Miami and Minnesota are like, we got guys, we're not really that great of a team. Let's unload the Brinks truck and pay them. But
Yeah,
do you really think that those teams are going to go the distance? Because I don't.
right. I'm completely with you. Okay, this just completely caught me off guard, so I have to say this out loud.
Okay.
Deontay Johnson's with Carolina?
Yeah, that was actually oddly that was one of the first free agency moves back in
Huh,
March. He jumped ship from Pittsburgh to Carolina
right.
right away, which I'll be honest, I really like the trajectory of Carolina. I'll tell you this right now. I mean, going into the season, I mean, we'll talk about this some more, but I could see the Panthers actually finishing in second place in that division.
Yeah, that division's pretty bad. But
I'd say two of those other teams are really bad, but there's one team that I already was in the playoffs last season that I think is still going to be pretty good.
Deontay Johnson's making 18 million a year. He is 23rd in wide receiver money.
Yeah, but there are times where that guy can play, man, where like he just has like that separation that is just insane. But he's got to be out there. He's got to be healthy. If he can do that kind of stuff, he can do it. Yeah, it's a little bit pricey, but if you're Carolina, like you're not drafting guys well. I mean, you got to get something to get Bryce Young acclimated, and getting pieces like that alongside Adam Thielen. I want to say they landed. Didn't they land like a running back or someone else? But you got to get some pieces there. I know that's the whole idea of keeping Justin Jefferson with the Minnesota Vikings, but I don't think of it as much like that. I think what Carolina has, where they actually have, they need to get some pieces to see what the heck Bryce Young is made out of. Then I understand it. But Minnesota, I mean, they're already kind of building a good team. I just wouldn't unload all that money on on a player that has some kind of disgruntledness and definitely has now a severe injury history that you could have moved off of, and you could have drafted his replacement because you already drafted a dynamite wide receiver the year before.
Yeah, I'm just very puzzled by Carolina, and again, paying a wide receiver near the top 20 of money that just puzzles me, I guess.
This is also an offensive-minded head coach. This is actually Baker Mayfield's offensive coordinator from last season, is now the head coach of Carolina. So he wants to get as many weapons in there and get this thing rolling as quickly as possible to see how this team develops under Bryce Young. And he has to know, like, soon, like, is Bryce Young the guy or is he not? Because if you're a head coach coming into a new team like this, I would think that guy probably already thinks, as a head coach, I basically have 3 years to flip this, and this is year one. So after this, I only got 2 years max, or I'm already out the door. So he has to start building weapons to see what the heck happens. If that's not the case, then draft Bryce Young's replacement. We know if they would have had the first overall pick, they totally would have taken Caleb Williams and kicked Bryce Young out of there anyways.
Yeah. See, but I guess my issue is, like, Deontay Johnson just came off of, like, basically his worst season in the NFL.
Oh, he was hurt though.
He only missed 3 games, which, I mean, yeah,
3 games. It felt like a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, he played 14 games. He had 51 receptions and 717 yards. Like, why would you pay that guy so much money? He's only hit 1,000 yards one time. Like,
right.
Second least amount of touchdowns, second least amount of yards. Like, I don't really understand that at all.
Yeah. Also, you have a owner of the Panthers that's, like, reckless. He's like the most. He is by far the richest NFL owner in the NFL, and he does some pretty wonky stuff. I mean, we saw him throwing alcohol at fans at, like, a Jaguars game. This is a guy who's just totally reckless, who doesn't care what repercussions come of certain things. So I think he has no problems spending a reckless amount of money on what you pointed out as probably the 20th best receiver in the NFL.
I don't even know if I would put him that high right now. Okay, does this lineup scare you? Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, and Rashad Penny, Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, and Jonathan Mingo. I don't know any of these tight ends. Tommy Tremble, Jentavian Sanders, and Ian Thomas.
Oh, that's definitely the weak part of that team right there. They have no tight end play. None. I do like the running backs, and I like the wide receivers that they're mixing in there. I mean, I'm not saying the running backs are
wide
great.
Receivers?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I would definitely like to see more out of Jonathan Mingo. I do like Adam Thielen there. I think he's still got it in the slot, and definitely early in the season, he definitely had some really good production. And now bringing in Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson is going to get the number 1 looks, which is really going to open up Adam Thielen, and it's really going to open up Jonathan Mingo. I think Mingo is going into his second year.
Yeah, I guess so, because Adam Thielen had a great year. He was top 10 in receptions, didn't really score a bunch, but, like, at age 33, I mean, even that season last year kind of, like, blew us all away in fantasy, and then he kind of, trickled down. But, like, I can't expect him to do that again. And we already just talked about Johnson's numbers. Like, I just don't see anything good coming out of this.
I think too, I mean, Rashad Penny is a guy who can kind of give you some stuff out of the backfield, catching wise. He's kind of a shifty, DeAndre Swiftish kind of tailback. Chuba Hubbard is not the greatest. But that's pretty much it you said for running backs, right? Was there a third guy I'm missing?
I mean, he stole Miles Sanders' spot. So,
yeah, he did.
I mean, if he's meh, then Miles Sanders is, like, meh.
Really rough.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. I don't know if something happened with Miles Sanders health wise. Because to be honest, up until last year, I even thought Miles Sanders was better than Saquon Barkley to this point. But things definitely changed last season. Something happened with Miles Sanders, probably playing for the Panthers. It just didn't look right. But then again, I think this team now finally having an offensive minded coach. I mean, I'll tell you this right now, I like them better than Atlanta. I don't know what the heck Atlanta is doing. Like they are so dysfunctional, disorganized, don't know what they're doing. They're taking confidence away from $100 million contracted quarterback. I really think and not only that, they have a defensive head coach now too. I have no idea who the OC is in Atlanta. I think it is a real step back that to me, I mean, if I gotta make a comparison, we'll probably transition this way, but I think the Atlanta Falcons are like the Indiana Fever of the NFL.
Oh man, that was hurtful.
It was, but it's real.
That's true. I mean,
That's no debate.
wow. I mean, you know what? You said we start off by saying there wasn't very much going on in the sports world. I mean, Caitlin Clark's getting into fights with people. I mean,
It's
sure.
true. Absolutely. I mean, we kind of saw that 2 years ago when she was at Iowa. We saw that hot headedness.
Hmm.
And then this past season in March, we didn't see too much. She seemed more calm, collected, knew she was going to make bank being drafted first overall in the WNBA. However, now she's in the W and it ain't going so hot.
No.
It is really tough sledding. I'll give you this though. I heard this today. I was pretty shocked by it that some of these teams in the W have played only like 6, 7 games, yet Indiana's played 11 games in 20 days. Does that sound right?
Um, let's see. The least amount that I see, there are three teams that have played 7 games. Yeah, Indiana's at 11. Um, they have by far played the most games. Uh, the
Yeah,
next I'm seeing
I
is
don't get it.
8. No, 9. A couple teams have played 9.
Okay.
I I mean they kind of wanted to, put their best player out there, I guess. I the face of the league is becoming the face of the league. I'm not sure. Um, but
Yeah.
I can't really I'm not going to use that as like an excuse on why they're bad. They're bad because they're bad. Um,
Yes, they are.
they really and again, I know I point it out just about every week, but it comes down to Caitlin Clark. Like, if you're going to be the best player, which I know people are not going to like this, but Caitlin Clark's not the best player on her team. And
No,
you've
no,
heard me
she's not.
say who I think's the best player, um, because this team has become so much better since Kelsey Mitchell became the starting guard next to Clark. Like, Kelsey Mitchell is a dog. Like,
Right.
she is a hooper. Aaliyah Boston doesn't really do anything for me. I do like Lisa Smith, and oh man, I can't remember her name. It's like Feg Bali, I want to
Okay.
say.
Sure.
Um, she's started a couple games recently, but then she's been out. She's only played 8 games, but when she plays, like she's in the paint, just pushing people out of the way. But at the same token, like Clark brings the ball up a lot. She she has so many turnovers. Yeah, she's got a lot of assists, but it's like when Kelsey Mitchell is controlling the basketball, this team is so much better.
Right. And I take it Kelsey Mitchell is also a point guard, right?
Um, yeah, I don't really know if I can call her a point guard. Like she's a combo guard. Um,
Okay.
but they play together now. Uh,
Sure.
and at the same token, like Kelsey Mitchell has a better assist to turnover ratio than Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark has 6 assists. So it's pretty bad how much she turns the ball over.
Oh yeah. I mean, pretty much. the majority of starters on that team maybe get 1 to 2 turnovers per game. She is getting like over 5.
Yeah. Um, and then so Kelsey Mitchell's averaging 15.1. Caitlin Clark's at 15.6. And it's like
Sure.
Kelsey Mitchell is playing 4 less minutes than Caitlin Clark, and they're averaging the same stuff. It like if they could take the ball out of I was showing someone this before. The perfect comparison to Caitlin Clark, if she would learn how to play, is like DT, Diana Taurasi.
Right.
Um, the other night I was watching a Mercury game, and she literally dribbled like 20 times total and put up like 30.
Wow.
I think she hit 6 or 7 threes that night.
Sure.
It, it's like that's what you should be striving to be, not some like point guard who's controlling the basketball every time you dribble up the court, you know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I just think they need a little bit more movement, and I don't think it would hurt this team if they actually brought her off the bench and developed her as like a 6 player to start. And especially too, I mean, they've played 11 games in 20 days. That's insane.
Hmm.
So like they're putting way too much tread on her tires. It's just too much of a workload, I think, and get her more acclimated, and especially too with like the speed of the game. She's obviously not in tune with the speed of the game, especially with the
No.
insane amount of turnovers she has every single game.
Yeah, and the bad shooting percentage. Like everyone thought she was gonna come in and just light it up. I mean, she's shooting 29% from the three. Like I there's
That's below
honestly there
average.
in the it's really below average. I mean, yeah, you can compare her to like Brianna Stewart, but like Stewie's also giving you 9 rebounds a game
Sure.
and like barely turning the ball over. So like I I don't know. It's just so weird to me. Like Clark takes 8 threes a game and you're shooting 30%. Well, maybe stop taking threes. That could help.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's definitely a good way to start. But I'm with you on this. Like, I think her being in the lineup way too frequently and still turning over the ball and not being in tune with how this league works to start is definitely having an impact, especially on their wins and losses. I
Yeah.
mean, last year they were the worst team in the WNBA. They are currently the second worst team in the WNBA.
Yep. Um, and like to me, the big thing is you have two of the top 20 scorers in the W, and
Right.
every other team that has two top 20 scorers is really good. Uh, Asia Wilson and Jackie Young. I mean, they also have Kelsey Plum, but
Yeah.
uh, um, Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray from the Dream, like Jewel Lloyd and Nneka Gumake from Seattle, like
Yep.
Brianna Stewart and Sabrina. Like you have all these teams that have scoring power, but yet the Fever are at the bottom. It tells
Right.
you something like something's not clicking with that. The end. You know what? Perfect example. So Caitlin Clark, the big story is her getting knocked over by Kennedy from Chicago.
Right.
And nobody on this team, no one on Indiana came up to help her. Like
Yeah.
that was the first thing I noticed. Usually when someone comes and bumps your player or hard fouls your player, someone gets up and goes, "Hey, you're not doing that. Like get out of our business."
Right.
Like no one came to her aid. And that right there kind of told me like they might not be behind her as much as everyone thinks.
Right. Yeah. I don't think they are. And I just think it's too much of putting the face of the league on her shoulders to start. and she's just not ready for it. I mean, like there's nothing wrong with getting her acclimated, having her start from the bench and then coming onto the scene and really making an impact and incorporating her into this offense, but it's just not there yet.
Yeah, every player obviously takes a step back when you bring in someone like her,
Yep.
but I think I went through it a couple weeks ago that like all of these players are not the same players anymore since she's been put on the team. Um, Katie Lou Samuelson's like really a big way to look at it. Like she dropped so much. I'm just looking
Sure.
at their stats as a team. They've had like 8 players, 9 players start games, and not because of injuries. Like they're all playing. They just don't have a lineup that wants to play the way she's playing basketball.
Right. No, it's true. Yeah, it's. I mean, like even right here, I'm looking at that 3 point percentage list that you are, and Caitlin Clark is definitely outranked by Kelsey Mitchell on her team.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think you're right that this team needs to go through Kelsey Mitchell first, and then begin to incorporate Caitlin Clark.
yeah. Like, and that's when they win. To be honest, they look better that way. Um, yeah, I don't. It just puzzles me. I just don't understand how they lose basketball games.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty bizarre how they do it, but again, too, I mean, I've watched their games, and it just feels like they're also not being coached right, and I think this does fall on the coaching too, putting everything on Caitlin Clark instead of utilizing Kelsey Mitchell and the rest of that team and getting that offense to work. They don't even know what works. They just throw out Caitlin Clark because she sells tickets.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Throw out Caitlin Clark, get some ticket sales. We'll come back next year. Well, it's like,
Yeah,
wait a minute. A lot of these players are top 2, top 3 picks. Your team should be really good by this point.
yeah. Kelsey Mitchell's one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Aaliyah Boston, last year's number one.
Yep,
Like, you
she's a
shouldn't
great
have that
big.
many number ones, and you're not good.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's very bizarre how the Indiana Fever are this bad, but I know Vegas and other betting things wanted people to bet Indiana to win the East, but like man, I thought they were going to
No
be
way.
bad. I really thought they were going to be bad coming into the season, and they are still really bad.
Yeah, I mean, a team in the Mystics who hasn't won a game, right,
Yeah,
has a better point differential than Indiana does. That's insane.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that just reflects to how bad your team plays defense and to how many turnovers Caitlin Clark is causing every single game until that gets addressed.
Yeah, they're the only team in the W that's giving up 90 points a game. That's nuts.
Yeah. That's an insane amount of points going on every single game.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, there the positives of the W, I mean, there's a lot of ladies um that are scoring 20 points a game this year. Like you
absolutely.
have Enrique Agumbawale and Asia Wilson, obviously, and like
Yep.
players like that. And you're still waiting on some players to come back, like a Brittany Griner, blanking, Chelsea Gray, I believe, is out, and it's like you you still have some star power coming, and like a lot of these teams are already running away, and you know who the good teams are.
Yeah.
It's the same teams as normal, Connecticut, New York, um, Las Vegas, Seattle, those types of teams. Um, I just don't see a spot for them. I believe it
Right.
or not, I do like Chicago though. Like,
Oh yeah, I thought Chicago drafted actually pretty well, especially
yeah,
after we talked about it and talked about how you move Angel Reese into more of a guard wing position instead of like a power forward center position. I think that's actually working out really well for them.
see, well, like I do have a problem with Angel Reese though. Like Camila Cardosa just came back this
Sure.
last game,
Yep.
and like she was a monster. Like
Yeah. I know she
they
was
only
picked
played
third, but I'm always going to think of her as the second overall pick of this draft, at least the second
yeah,
best player.
yeah. She came in and I mean she only played like like half the game, but
Yeah.
like right away you could be like, oh, you can't stop her. Like
Yeah. She's like what, 6'7"?
something like that. She
Yeah.
is a giant person.
Yeah.
I think she was like 11-6 in like half the game.
Jeez. I mean, honestly, I mean, I still thought she was going to actually have another year or two in South Carolina. I just haven't seen her to this point. But like now that she's in the league, like yeah, she's got the size. I think she's totally going to make it happen.
Oh, that's what I was saying. My issue is with Angel Reese though. Like,
Sure.
oh my gosh, I know we were talking about this during the draft, and we said, like she has no outside game, she can't shoot, she doesn't really do anything important.
Right.
I will say she's a dog though. Like
Okay.
for being undersized and averaging 10 and 9 is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like, don't get me wrong, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like she shoots like 30%.
Oh, like
And
from the field?
yeah,
Ugh.
the exact number is 35. And
Oy.
and I will tell you, I have not seen her make a jump shot.
Oof. Oof.
Um, all of her points come off of layups and fast breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what I saw her do at LSU for the most part. I mean, she's pretty much a inside paint player, and she's really good at it.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if she's good at that, to be honest. Like
At
so I'm
LSU,
looking at it.
not
She,
Chicago. I don't know.
yeah, she makes 3 shots a game, and like I literally have only seen her make fast break layups. Like I she shoots 66% free from the free throw line. Like that's insane.
Oh, that's really bad too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh
mean, like just going by field goal percentage, she's not even in the top 40 of the WNBA.
oh no, she's like the worst shooter on her team.
Yeah,
She
that's probably
hasn't made
true.
a three. Like she's so efficiently bad. It's like yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I think she's gonna lose a lot of minutes to Camille Cardosa, to be
Oh,
honest.
totally, totally. And Camila Cardosa is a much better player than she is.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. When you're shooting 71% after your first game, that basically tells me something.
Yeah, they'll do it. They'll do it. So, no, that's good stuff. It's cool to see that team work that way. But then again, I mean, you got to think about it. Angel Reese, I mean, she's gonna have to improve, or else she could become a liability to our team.
Yeah. Wait, did I tell you this crazy idea that I had?
What
Um,
you got? Is it
so
two basketballs on the court at the same time?
oh, actually, you might need that with Caitlin Clark. Then she wouldn't
That's
turn it
true.
over.
That's true. That's no
Um,
debate.
so I think there might be someone that could win Rookie of the Year. That's not Caitlin Clark.
Were you talking Cameron Brink?
I am. I
Yeah.
am definitely.
Yes, I saw her play the other night. She is really working her all around game from being a pretty solid mid range shooter. She has that outside 3-point shot. She has the inside size. She has that complete game that's coming together now.
Yeah. So like she's shooting 37% from the 3-point line. She's shooting
There you go.
47% from the field,
That's where it should be.
81% from the free throw line,
Nice.
and like 5 rebounds a game. But this is
Yep.
the big one. She's third in the league in blocks.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's pretty insane. Yeah,
right
she
now
is.
she only plays 24 minutes a game. And I'm sure they're probably like slow amping her up, but it's
Right.
like Huh. I
Yeah,
wonder I wonder what that would look like if she won Rookie of the Year.
right. And what if too, like, what if Indiana would have like taken that slow, steady pace with Caitlin Clark? Like, how could that have benefited her stat wise?
Right.
Instead of
I
just bum rushing all these points per game and really looking bad on every other stat line.
I'd like to think that um the the way that Cameron Brink's been like slow fed and um Rakia Jackson's another one kind of like that.
Yeah.
That percentage of bad shots that Caitlin Clark takes would probably be better.
Yeah, I think so. I think those percentage of bad shots would definitely decrease. And I also think too, like her, I think right now, because she's forced to be a starter, playing practically every minute of every game, she's carrying so much of that team on her shoulders that that is totally inflating her assist to turnover ratio. And I think her coming off the bench would greatly reduce that.
Right. I agreed. And now the thing that like kind of bugs me is Caitlin Clark won the Rookie of the Month, and I don't really know why.
Yeah, she plays terribly.
Right. I saw
And
the
that's
face you made there, and I'm like, yep, that's about how I feel.
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like being kind about it. So yeah, yeah, I'm not too keen on that, especially with what you laid out with Cameron Brink. I think she's playing pretty top notch actually, and
I'm
even
trying to
like
find
scoring wise, she's up there too.
I'm trying to find some like a rookie report for stats, but it's
Okay,
really hard to find for the WNBA.
sure.
I don't know why that is.
Yeah, for me, I was able to just go to the WNBA on ESPN. And I was able to go to stats and
But you can't find just rookies though,
true. Yeah, that's true.
which I mean that means it's something they have to update, obviously.
Right. No, that actually would be really cool to see is how just those rookies are. If someone can find that, let us know in the comments anywhere. That would definitely be great. But we'll definitely have to do some more digging to find something like that.
Yeah, kind of makes me sad a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's definitely debate.
I wonder if I can trying to see if I can do some advanced filters on wait. I think I got it.
What you got?
I am on the WNBA website.
They definitely have a good platform. Yeah, I would say it's probably best to just go through them. Their app is actually top notch too.
Okay, wow. Okay, maybe I'm not seeing something here, but this is horrible.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. Now I'm at totals. I don't want totals. There we go. Boom. Okay. So in the W, there's only four rookies that are uh at double digit points. Isn't that weird?
boy, that's pretty short.
And now that I'm looking at it, out of the top 13 rookies, only Caitlin Clark and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this young lady's name on Dallas are playing more than 30 minutes a game.
Yeah,
Yikes.
yeah. I
But
mean,
Rakia Jackson and Cameron Brink for the Sparks are looking as dominant as,
as you can
any
get.
duo. Um,
Yeah,
that's going to be a big and a guard that probably is going to work really well later on.
sure.
Um, Angel Reese is actually third in scoring. And like just looking at her stats compared to other rookies,
Yeah.
I might even take Angel Reese right now at Rookie of the Year.
But I mean, laying out what you said when it came to like field goal percentage and shooting percentage, there's no way with that I would take her ahead of Cameron Brink at this point.
So Angel Reese is having the same percentage as Caitlin Clark. Their
Yeah,
difference is 0.4%.
yeah,
But Angel Reese is giving me 9 rebounds a game
okay,
and 1.5 steals and a third less turnovers.
right, yeah.
Plus, she's
So
playing 5 minutes shorter. Like, I feel like
yeah,
if Camelia Cardosa gets some games under her belt, she might be the rookie of the year. Like,
right,
book it right now.
yeah. Because this is just the beginning. This is her very first game that she just played the other night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
11-6. Like, wow.
yeah, and like we pointed out too, 6'7". That's no joke. Like that's a real size stat line. Whether it's WNBA, NBA, 6'7" is real.
I wonder if
Um,
there's a way to. I wonder if Pato will let you put money on Camila Cardosa as rookie of the year.
oh, I think they would. I definitely think they would. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would definitely have. I know they have rookie of the year bets. Camila Cardoso is definitely one of those that you can pull up. And I want to say too, like, let me see if I can actually pull it up on the Rivers real quick because they have a similar betting platform that Potawatomi has. Also, I'm running low on battery juice.
Oh,
Let me go grab a charger and I will be right back. That's
I
no
mean,
debate.
what are you at right now?
I would say I'm probably at battery wise, I'm probably at about 13%.
Well, I mean, we
So we can
only
probably
have.
make it for a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could probably make it maybe 5 more minutes or so and
Yeah,
wrap it
5
up.
more minutes. Totally, man. Totally.
Was there anything sports wise that is sticking in your craw?
I do have a little bit of talk for the NBA
Oh,
finals that I was shocked about. But to begin with, my NBA bet did pay off. I did get paid from winning with the Celtics and the Mavericks for
okay.
the NBA finals. So that actually worked out really nicely. So I liked that. That was pretty cool. Um, but let me see here. Okay, cool. I got some WNBA stuff going on. But yeah. So okay, here we go. Here we go. We got WNBA. Oh my goodness. You want to bet rookie of the year for Camila Cardosa? Yeah, now's the time. Um, so let's see here. Okay, we'll click this. I don't know. We'll put $10 on that. $10 on Camila Cardoso to win Rookie of the Year pays $400.
Ooh.
She has plus 4,000 odds to win it.
So I'm gonna guess that it goes Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink.
That's actually that's pretty much three of your top five right there. Except it goes Caitlin Clark, then it goes Cameron Brink, then Angel Reese, and then Rakia Jackson.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Check this out. Caitlin Clark's odds are minus 700. Don't
Jesus.
bet that. Don't bet
No.
that. Like that is terrifying. And like we pointed out, like the numbers are bad on her. Like, yeah, she can score 15 points a game, but is 15 points a game going to get you rookie of the year? I don't think so. And
I
bad in like really, really other significant stats? I don't
Yeah,
think so.
especially when you're playing like 10 more minutes than Rakia Jackson or Cameron Brink. Like
Yeah.
that that's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. But real quick, I mean, I know we got 5 minutes. We'll see how this plays out. But I think I told you too. I was feeling pretty gung ho about Dallas winning the NBA Finals against the Celtics.
Yep.
However, a guy pointed this out to me at work. Probably this like Dallas will probably run flat on scoring because Dallas just beat up on who did they beat up on? They beat
Minnesota.
up on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that's a pretty lengthy, big sized team. Boston is shorter, quicker, better scoring, and they still play defense. So I think Dallas is not going to be able to keep up with the scoring that Boston has. And Boston has multiple guys who can defend. You have that in obviously Drew Holiday, and you have that in Derek White.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, did I lose you? Oh man, I think we lost. I think we lost metrics there. I wonder if the weather got him. Um, yeah, I know he was saying that Boston's a better scoring team and great defensively and things like that. Uh, oh, he just told me he was out of juice. I don't know how he lost that much power, but Boston's a pretty good defensive team. Yeah, they're really good offensively as well, but so was Minnesota. Minnesota was the number one defensive team coming into the playoffs, and Dallas found a way to kind of shred them. Um, and the difference in points per game is only two defensively. So I don't think it's going to be that much of a um, big deal when it comes to points. Uh, and like I am leaning more towards Dallas in this game. I don't really have a dog in the race, obviously. Um, it's one of those things where Dallas just has to find a way to stop Tatum and Brown, which I don't think there's really a way. Um, but it's the same way with every team. They're gonna have to figure out how to stop Luca and Kyrie, but it's the others. The other players on each one of these teams is who you got to worry about. You don't want Drew Holiday having one of those 30-point games again, because then you're not winning. You don't want Kristaps Porzingis coming in there putting up 20, 25 points a game, because then you're probably not going to win. But it's the same thing with Dallas, where you don't want Derrick Jones Jr. or PJ Washington hitting 5 or 6 threes, and then you're like, whoa, how are we down 10? Um, there's a lot of work to be done. Um, I think you may see some more of Tim Hardaway Jr. in this. Derek Lively's been really good defensively. I think Dallas is the way I'm leaning, but who knows? That's no debate, right? As metrics would say. But since metrics did run out of juice, my brain's running out of juice. And apparently I just got hit with some thunder again. So for your boy DJ Triggs, this is No Debate Sports, and that's No Debate.